Do you know how to create an Android app that connects to this small printer and print those amazing selfies using NanoBanana? Well, I sure didn't know how to do it, but I know now, and I'm going to teach you today exactly how to do it without knowing how to develop to Android. And no, this is not a vibe coding video, this is Agentic coding. So what led me to create this thing? Well, I bought these small printers in the past, and I really like it. It's small, it's printing on stickers, and it's really nice, pretty awesome, but the app is a shitty one. Really, I hate this app, and I tried few different apps because there's plenty of variety of those type of printers. You can buy them on Amazon, I think, for less than £20. But yeah, all of those apps that I tried was just horrible, really horrible. And none of them was tailored to exactly what I need and what I need it for. Usually when I go into conference, I have this printer in my bag. And then if I'm meeting some people that I know, we're taking selfies and I'm printing it on stickers. And there was like small memories from our get around together. And I really like it. And well, it's, as I said, the application was terrible. So I decided on one of the weekends just to spend a few hours and to see if I can create my own app that is still exactly for my need and do all of that. I mean, connecting from the Android to the printer and knowing how to print to that, that's something that, trust me, I really don't know how to do. I know how to code. I could probably do it on the web, but not on Android. So how did I do it? Well, I started with Claude-code, actually. So I went to Claude-code, I gave him all the details of the printer, and I told it to figure out how to connect my computer to the printer and print something. That's it. Like, yeah, go away. I don't care how you're going to do it. I saw on the conversation that it went to some articles online, find some code on GitHub, and try to tell something together. The first print was really barely concede, but after a while it printed something. Once it printed starting, and he actually did it on Python. So it was like a Python script that you're just running it and connecting to the printer and printing something. Once that was done, I just keep vibe coding on it to create some kind of a website, which you can see in here. So I have this area for the camera. I have a few prompts that connecting to Gemini 3.1, I guess, image. So this is NanoBanana. I have an option to put my keys in here to connect to the printer. And obviously a few prompts. I can find my own prompt. And I did some printers, as you can see in here. The first one was, you can barely see it because this printer is basically, it's like the printer that you see on restaurants and shops. So it's burning the page. And you need to know how long to burn each pixel in order to have different kind of shade of gray or darkness of black. Anyway, however you're going to call it, it was a while to play with it, to understand it. So this is what I just kept adding more and more setting so I can see it. And also I put some logs here so I can see what's going on and where it's failing and stuff like that. And it was like a nice hour just to figure out how everything should connect together and how to get a very good quality of prints out of the printer. Once I was done with that, theoretically, I could just make this website a little bit nicer and use it as a web app on the Android and then connect from there. But I think I would probably be able to create an Android app. Now, I don't know anything about Android. Theoretically, I know everything about Android, but I never wrote code for it. I never learned Kotlin. I'm clueless about all this thing. And I decided, okay, let's see if I can create something. So the first thing I did, I went back to Claude-code and I told him, okay, we have a POC. Let's just document everything that we know. Everything that we learn need to be on a document. And this is why I have right here few documents that explain the concept of this solution, of this app, the design that we did, all the things that we learned was getting inside those documents. And then I went to Google Stitch. And inside Google Stitch, I put some of this description, some of this documentation inside of it. And I told them that we're building an app and that's what it should do. And this is the first attempt, which was, for me, was mind-blowing. This is like, oh, wow, that looked like a very nice app. And it also created this prototype so I can click on it and just see how everything moving. So we're getting like, this is the camera and you can click a camera and then you can see what you just took and you can select what you want to use and you can probably click it again and go to this page. And yada, yada, yada. Anyway, it worked nice, and I said, okay, let's just create it. Now, I know that if you're going to the export over here in this corner, I can probably select the prototype, and then I can go directly to AI Studio. And that's what I did. And he took the design, he went to AI Studio to the build mode, and he started building this app. And I have to admit, it was a crap. So I didn't like it. So I opened my own session inside a studio, and this time I just gave him a better prompt with all the information that I really want. And I took some of the snapshot of the stitch design. So I think over here, we have some information about this should be the image, and this is how it should look. And everything looked great. And once you finish to build the code, I have a preview, which you can see over here. So it doesn't have real connection to the camera. So it's just imitating camera. And I can click here, and I can get inside. And yeah, that's looked like a crap again. Never mind. Let's say I want to try a style. I need to click try a style. It was like, yeah, it's a mess. And when I tried to fix it inside the build in AI Studio, it didn't work well, because this is most of the problem that I have with vibe coding. When you have a small project that is not that complicated, it's working well. But if you want to get a little bit more complication, instead of having like a good way to tell the agent, I want to do a little bit of that and a little bit of that, and let's just give me some option, it feels like all the tools themselves just pushing you to a solution too fast. And usually you're getting crappy solution. After 3 times that I try, because, it's almost for free just to start all over again and try to change your prompt a little bit. So I did all that 3 times, and I didn't like the outcome, and I didn't like the conversation that came after the outcome. Theoretically, I could take the code from here and move to a different tool, but I decided to just go completely agentic coding and just teach that solution from this point on. So what I did, I went to Antigravity 2.0. I went to the setting, because I never wrote Android before. And if you're going to the setting under the systemization in the bottom, this is where you have all your skills and all your MCPs. You also have build with Google plugins. Click on here. There is an Android option. When I got here, it was download. So I just needed to download all the ability to give the knowledge to Antigravity. And once you finish download, it's like, hey, I know Kung Fu. So fine. I started a new session in that directory, and I'm using one of my skills that is a system architect skill, which means this skill is aimed to help me design system, not to build them. Because I think most of the tools today, Antigravity, Claude-code, Codex, they all know how to build very well. And although all of them have planning, they don't have the design part. And design part is very important when you're writing software. So this is a skill that tells the agent not to write code, but to design code, to design systems. And I just gave him the documentation, a little brief. Of course, you have access to the entire library, so you have also access to the code, the old code of the JavaScript. Told him that was a POC, we're building something new. Some of the things doesn't need to be there. Let's make discussion about it. And then we dive into a conversation about what need to be built. And all of that got into new documents that you can see probably in here. Yeah, so this is the document of the design of the Android app. Now, designing an Android app, I can probably read this document and review it with no problem. It doesn't drill down to the code. It's just like the principle, which I'm okay with reading that and reviewing that, and that's what I did. Once I finished with that, I started a new session in Antigravity, and this is the session for the developer. So I have an architect and I have a developer. And I told the developer, this is the design document, please give me a review about it. What do you think? Can you build it? Do you have any pushback? Do you agree with it? I didn't want him just to get it and start writing a code based on it. I told him, no. First, you need to read it and understand it and tell me that you understand what you read and tell me if you have any pushback. I don't remember if he had any pushback, but after this initiation, we finished up with an implementation plan. Now, implementation plan, this is something that this is an artifact that Antigravity gives you anyway. Implementation for an Android app, this is something that I'm a little bit struggling. I read it, but there was some nuance there that, once again, I'm not an Android developer. How do I know if that was the right approach or not? So what I did, I opened Claude-code, new session, same directory, and I gave Claude-code the implementation plan, and I told him, could you just review it for me and give me your feedback? And I took those feedback back to Antigravity session, the developer session, and I told them, an external expert saw your implementation plan, and that's the feedback you got for it. What do you think about this feedback? Once again, I didn't just put it there and let him fix it because maybe Claude-code is wrong. I want to get pushback. I want to see if Antigravity, if Gemini agree with this review. So I think, if I remember right, all of the comment was spot on and the implementation plan was changed. We also changed some of the stuff from the design. So I went back to the architect session and I told them, could you just please check again the implementation plan? We changed some stuff in the design. Could you update the design document? Because that's the architect's responsibility, not the developer. So all those back and forward took me like another half an hour or something like that, just to get all of them aligned together with one plan. Once it was aligned, I told the developer, go ahead, implemented it. Finished to implement it, I went back to Claude and asked him to code review it. And Claude code review it because I cannot read. I can read, I cannot understand Kotlin or understand the nuance of the language. Claude read it. And then he came back and said, I think it could be done better. So once again, there was like some kind of back and forth between both of them, just agreeing how to make the code better. I got the code better, but then I don't have Android Studio on my machine. I don't have any emulators. I couldn't run it. So I told Antigravity that I don't have any emulators on my machine because I never installed Android Studio. And it told me, well, if you have an Android phone, you can put it on developer mode and just do the setting of USB debugging, connect the phone, and I will take it from there. That's exactly what I did. And after a few minutes, I got the app installed on my phone so I could play with it. I could see that it connected to the printer, few bugs. Every time I had an error, I screenshot it, and then I upload the screenshot back to Antigravity, show it to the agent, and basically every time there was an error, it was one shot and it was fixed the next time it reinstalled the app. I think by now we are talking about 2 hours into this event that, or maybe a little bit more, that I already have a working app on my phone connected to the printer, printing screenshots like this. And then I took the app, installed it on the other members of the family devices, and we start just playing with it and printing stuff. Through this, I figure out more features that I really need. So for instance, we had this amazing photo of all of us together, and then my daughter said, could you just send it on the WhatsApp group? And I don't have a share button. So I went back to Antigravity and I told him, I need a share button. I went to the architect, by the way. And the architect said, well, if you have a share button, don't you want to have a save button so you can actually save it on the device? I said, oh, that's a brilliant idea. Let's do that. Update the documentation, went back to the session of the developer, created a new 2 buttons, and continue until I have the perfect app for what I need. And let me just show you the app. This is what happened when I'm opening it. Straight going to camera, and I can take a photo or change the camera to have the front camera or even load my own images. Let's just take a selfie. And now I can crop it, so I can decide that that's good enough for me, and there's something in the side here I want to remove, so I can crop it within the app. I can retake an image. Obviously, I can connect to the printer at the top, and I have here all the different styles that I already created. So if I will click on one of them, it will use the prompt, send it to Gemini, use NanoBanana, and get back an image based on that prompt. And each prompt is already configured for the printer, so it makes sure there is a good contrast between black and white. As you can see over here, it got me like the photo. And if I will choose a different style, then I can it already took that photo and put it on the thumbnails, so I can see like a glimpse of what just created. The rest of them have the default thumbnail for now, and I can use the unicorn one or just create a new style. And once I have a style that I like, I can either print it or share it or save it, as I said before, or retake the entire thing back to the camera and take another photos. And on the setting, I already have the API key for Gemini and some instruction, but that's it. So basically, the entire app is pretty simple. And as I said before, tailored exactly to what are the action that I need to take when I want to print something. That's it. I don't need any more feature out of that. So the app is working. And this is exactly the app I need. I probably will never go back to the apps that I got with the printers. But I think it's changed something in my state of mind, that I don't have to agree or use the default apps that I get. And I can probably create more custom apps that are personalized to my need and custom to the behavior that I expect app to have. And I hope that will inspire you also to create your own app. So for instance, if you don't like the way you are handling the shopping list with your family, maybe you can create your own app for your family that is tailored to the way you're shopping. So all of that could probably be built today, not all of them, but some of them, by just using Antigravity 2.0 with the knowledge of Android development. I got inspired for this entire project back in Google I/O Connect Berlin, where, well, let me show you that. One of the Googlers that worked for DeepMind, this is what he did. This is Javier. He's the one who created this project. There was a booth. We came there. We took selfies. I took selfie with him. And then NanoBanana just created those images. And this is printing with a printer that's also cutting. So this is now stickers that can be taken out of it, like the sticker that we took from here. And I think the quality is amazing. It took like a few minutes to print it and cut it. But the idea, when I just saw it, I said, oh, that's so brilliant. And then I said, I also have a printer and I use it less because it's not that easier to print. Maybe I can just create my own app. So yeah, so that was my inspiration. I hope I inspired you to do as well. If you also have a printer like that, you're probably asking, why can't we get your app on the App Store? Sorry, Google Play Store. You can't because I didn't upload it to that. This is not an app for any customer. This is an app that was built for me. If I want to put it in the App Store, I need to have like terms and conditions and privacy documentation. This is a legal documentation. Then I probably need to have more security. And I need to now start supporting this app. And if you have a complete different printer that is not supported, you will probably complain about that. And now I need to start to react to complaining. This is not my business. This is not my line of work. Why should I put it over there? Instead of that, I put it on GitHub and it's an open source. So if you do have a printer, you can just enjoy the code, download it, compile it, and install it on your device. So yeah, that's my idea. As I said, I hope it inspired you. If it did, please like, subscribe, and I see you on the next episode.